All right, hello, you guys. I just feel like talking a little bit. But, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'm gonna let this car pass because I do not speed. This guy, I think he had a good idea. But the problem is that you really don't understand that it's going to be a battle. And that's not to discourage anybody. But you got to understand, you got to really strategize. And what I'm talking about is, I was listening to Dane Calloway, and on a thumbnail, it's about the banks giving $250 in loans or something. So he was talking about that. He talking about that on a thumbnail about banks giving $250,000 in loans to different people. I think it's for small business loans, right? Small business loans. But so he was talking about, which I agree with, but then you got to understand who you are, and you're not. I mean, let me tell you something. I know it's a lot of so-called black people, the black community, talk about how the Chinese financially got their stuff together as a community, and Latina and all of this. But one thing you got to understand, true enough, the black community is very much fragmented, right? Very, very much fragmented. The black community, as far as the unity goes, it's at the point of no return, because I really don't think there ever was any unity to begin with. But to just leave that part out, to not even add that part, so-called black people, which Dane Calloway, he calls Niji, right? I just say so-called black people or brown people. But brown people in the United States of America, brown people are often called Latino or Hispanic, and so that's why I'm careful with just saying brown people, because I'd rather say so-called black, because if I say brown, it sounds like I'm talking about Latino. But anyway, so Dan Calloway was saying that the Niji, as he said, the Niji, need to put, he suggested the Niji, millions of people that's Niji, should take $25,000 to the side and put it in a trust fund. If millions of people can do that, the Niji, which is the so-called black people, would do that, then they can build their own nation. Now I can see how that'll work, but here's the problem. You need to know who you are. There's a real thing in jealousy. I just want to say this. I know that people want to, I know that the black community, so-called black people, love to brag on white people and how white people got their stuff together. But I really need to kind of drive it home that, for real, white people don't want black people to do well. I'm just going to say it. And you can say, well, what that got to do with me? Well, look at what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't even know if I believe the story that was given about some guy who might have been developmentally challenged. I think he might have been developmentally challenged. Something was a little off, but it was a so-called black man. I think he was in an elevator with a white woman, and the white woman accused him of touching her inappropriately, something like that. And she went to tell that to the people, to the men in her community. And then all of a sudden, because this black guy was accused of touching this white woman, the whole city of Tulsa, Oklahoma was burned down. Was that Black Wall Street? Was that Tulsa, Oklahoma? Black Wall Street, right? Because you had a so-called black man accused by a white woman of doing something inappropriate. I think he was accused of touching her. I don't know. He was accused of doing something inappropriate. And because he was accused by this white woman, I don't even know if I can believe that story. Something don't sit. And it's not to say the so-called black men don't do stuff. I'm not trying to defend him, because I don't know the guy, right? The point I'm making is, I don't know if this whole thing was made up for the reason why they decided to come and burn down Tulsa, Oklahoma. I wonder if that whole story was just made up for them to have an excuse to hate on the black community for doing so well. That's the point I'm making. I'm really starting to wonder if that's even a true story. Was there ever a black man that ever touched a white woman? Is any of that a true story? It might be, but I'm trying to say that I think they were looking for an excuse to come tear down this community. because they didn't like the fact that this community was doing so well. So I can say that I'm at the point that I'm not trying to defend black people, because black people do what they want to do, but at the same time, if black people, if the so-called black community was not fragmented and black people really came together in unity, they would not be left. It won't be peaceful. It will be war. I just need you so-called black, FBA, ADOS, whatever you want to call it, because now black Americans, so-called black Americans, have a bunch of different names. They either ADOS, they FBA, NIJI, right? I just say so-called because, I mean, you know, I just say so-called, but either way, it's going to be a problem, even if so-called black people were to come together and decided no longer. I know it's not going to happen, but I'm just saying, even if it did, it's going to be a war. And I know a lot of so-called black people want to get excited, talk about economics and all that stuff. You need to understand that you need to be spiritually prepared for what's going to come with that. I don't think you understand that the white people might be talking about you and saying how you're dumb and stuff, but one thing they don't like is for you to have high self-esteem. They do not want, I don't care how much they talk about how black folks need to get their stuff together. The minute, if ever, black people were to decide to get their stuff together and unite and start loving one another and loving themselves, I'm just saying, if it ever happens, white people will not be happy with that. And not only will they not be happy with it, it will be a war. That's when they're going to bring a lot of that Jim Crow back. That's when they're going to bring a lot of burning down houses and churches back. I'm just telling you. That's when they really going to bring a lot of that stuff back. See, ain't nobody bothering black folks right now because they already see that black people are messed up. I'm just going to say this is how a lot of them think. And this is around the world. They already see as black Americans are just really messed up and done for. So ain't nobody got no reason to mess with no black Americans. I'm going to tell you something that's keeping a lot of us safe. But if you just think if a hypothetical situation, I know it's not going to happen, and I don't think you need to unless you're spiritually ready for a war. It might not need to happen. But let's just say in a situation, if black people were to unite again, well, I don't know if they were ever united. If so-called black people were to unite, come together in their own city and build their own, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now, if they want to create a nation, they need to get out the United States of America. Point blank, period. Get out of the United States of America. That's the only way I can see so-called black people not getting attacked. It's getting out of the United States of America. And you can't all go at the same time either. You're going to have to take about at least 10 years or 20 years to leave little bit by little bit and go to a different land. Everybody can't leave at the same time. Now, I know people going to say, well, you know, black folks can't be quiet. They can't stop talking. They're going to tell a bit. Like, I know all that, but I'm just trying to say, well, putting all that aside, I know black people got a whole lot of problems that where stuff like that can't happen. So I already know that can't happen. I'm saying that in this particular type of realm of existence, because black people, let me say so-called black people, because I don't think they call themselves black in higher planes of existence. So-called black people actually exist in higher planes of existence. They exist. Okay? And it's a black, like it's all black, or it's all brown, or whatever. They all dark skinned, though. They not like mixed up like United States of America, how we all mixed up. Their skin is like really kind of chocolate. They look like they would be black Americans in a higher plane of existence, but their skin complexion is like my complexion and darker. I'm brown skinned. My complexion and darker. That means a paper bag and darker. They're not really too many light skinned because they're not mixed up. Right? They're not mixed up. It's like literally a black planet or brown or whatever. Yeah, in higher planes of existence, yeah. Not down here. Down here you have where the lighter fair skin complexion is more in rulership. Okay? You have the fair skin complexion that's more in rulership. And so what I'm saying is, in this realm of existence, if you're trying to come together and build a nation, and you got so-called Black Americans, Amnesia, whatever you want to call it, trying to come together and build a nation, like I say, I think Dan Calloway had a good idea. But in this realm of existence, just be prepared for what's going to happen, because in this realm is where the lighter skin rules. And you pretty much see all around the world where the darker skin just keep having problems. I think the darker skin keep having problems because the darker skin people in this low frequency just have problems. There are darker skin people that exist in higher frequencies where they not having these kind of problems. So I just don't want to put it on all black folks that don't know what, no, but they exist in higher realms of existence where they not having problems. You come down here in this realm of existence where somebody else made the rules, and the darker skin people gotta go along with somebody else's creation of how the world, go along with somebody else's rulership and how they created the world, and you have the darker skinned people that have to go along with that. The way the world works right now is, I don't think, especially in the United States of America, is not really in the nature of a lot of darker skinned people. It's really not in the nature, especially, during times of matriarchy, especially then. It's not really in the nature of a lot of darker skinned people. Okay? And so, but anyway, like I say, I can see where he has a good idea, but it's not, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's going to be a hot mess in the United States of America. If they decide to come together and call themselves building a community in the United States of America, and you let a lot of these jealous, because these are, I'm gonna say, white people, they will be jealous. I'm not. This is a time where I'm about to say what it is, what it really is with white people. They decide to build in the United States of America. And build communities, and then it turns out that they really are thriving and doing good because Dan Calloway isn't an influence. Dan Calloway is an influencer, and he can influence other influencers. Okay, and I can see how that can happen in the United States of America with his influence. But the problem is when you let the dominant community see, because I don't think the Latino, I don't think they're gonna care. I don't think the Chinese, the Asian, I don't think they're going to care that much. But the white people might have a problem with that. I mean, ain't nobody mess with black folks now because ain't no reason. So-called black folks now because there's no reason to mess with so-called. There's no reason to mess with them. Like, the black community is done. There's no reason to mess with them. Okay? But when they start really doing well, as Dan Calloway suggested, and if he decides to build in the United States of America, build neighborhoods, there's going to be war. You're going to see another Tulsa, Oklahoma again. You're going to see a Jim Crow starting all over again. History is going to repeat itself, I'm telling you. They're going to bring back that, because the thing is, you got to be careful building a nation when you have people in a political office. And I'm not just talking about Donald Trump either. I'm not talking about just Donald Trump. When you have people in political power that don't want the Niji, so-called black Americans or whatever, they don't want them to rise up like that. They don't want them to come together and unify. They really don't want that. They don't. It's just what it is. I'm not pro-black either. But I mean, I can see the truth for what it is in this particular reality. That's the truth. In this reality, that's the truth. You're going to have to be ready. You're going to have to be spiritually ready. I see financially being responsible and building a nation, but you're going to have to be backed up by spirituality. Like, you're really going to have some power. Because it's going to be a war. It's going to be another Tulsa, Oklahoma. Unless you decide one by one, little by little, get outside the United States of America and go somewhere else, and don't move all at one time and don't move so fast, because then they're going to know, they're going to catch on to say, oh, they all went to the same place. It has to be little bit by little bit, over like 10 to 20 years. And really, that's not that long of a time. I want you to understand how patient the people who is in power now. I mean, just seeing how patient they were. Like, they've been patient for hundreds of years. So 10 to 20 years over time, them moving and moving, it's not a big deal. It's not that noticeable when little bit by little bit move over time. And some people you're going to have to leave behind anyway. You best to just have gone and be happy with 20,000 and build a nation with 20,000 people, and then start from there and have children and build a nation from there, instead of worrying about taking over 1 million. I think 1 million is too much. I think 20,000 is too much. It's best to get at least 5 to 10,000 or something people who don't care about the United States of America. They are not Americanized like that, and they want to be independent. You best to go on to build your own country. Like, go to another country, buy some land outside the United States of America that's not claimed, and start your own nation. And you got to do little bit by little bit. You can't all go at one time. And then just like bring your children, start schools. You get to make your own rules. You're the president, because you bought the land. It's your country, so you're the president. And start your own schools. Bring children. That way they can have babies, and then you're going to build up a new population of Niji or whatever. Because don't raise no Niji up here in the United States of America. It's too corrupt. The United States is highly toxic. It's highly toxic. But anyway, yeah, so, but I see what he's saying, and I think it's a good idea, but not in the United States of America. Not within the United States of America. History will repeat itself. Trust me on that. And you better be ready for war. Okay, and you're going to need a lot of spiritual power. I mean, I get they have their ancestors and all that, but they might want to get to know the Most High. And I don't mean the Most High that people want to talk about in religions. They might want to get to know the Most High and put on that armor, because those ancestors might not be stronger than what these other folks. Those ancestors might not be stronger than what might be coming for them if they really do unite and come together and build within the United States. The ancestors might not be stronger than what might be coming for them. But if they're going to think they're going to build the United States of America and not have a problem, I don't know what to say. But the best thing to do is you might want to know the Most High. You might want to know something. The ancestors are right. I don't have nothing wrong with the ancestors. But these other folks got ancestors too. These other folks are dealing with doggone fallen angels and everything. They got all kinds of stuff going on. They into all kinds of magic, because you're going to be dealing with the Nazis. You're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff. You can't think that you're going to be like the Chinese people and build a nation and think ain't nobody going to bother you. No, don't nobody care about Chinese people being successful. Don't nobody care about Latino. Don't nobody care about whoever. Indian, don't nobody care about that. But you let the Niji or so-called black people come together and be successful like that, it's going to be a war. It just is. I'm going to call it like it is. I'm going to call it like it is. So it's best to start little by little bit. Get United States out. Stop being so stuck on United States of America, because I see that's what it's time for me to do. That's what it's time for me to do. Stop being so stuck on United States of America. Go somewhere else where there's a nice plot of land that's unclaimed, where you can build your own country or nation or whatever. It don't have to be huge either. It really don't have to be huge. And build like that and move little by little by little, so it won't be so noticeable. But don't take 1 million people with you. Like, get 20,000. You know, it don't cost that much to get a whole thing of land. Like, it might not cost that much to buy that, and then you start building from there. You know, I think 1 million is too much, especially so-called black Americans. Maybe 1 million white people might be okay. Like, if white people would choose to do something like that, they are more clandestine. I think 1 million black people too much. 1 million so-called black people, I think that's too much. I think you might want to go with 5,000, if that. Like, you might want to just go with 5,000. and then build up little bit by little bit. Because don't take no chance on nobody messing up your hard work. Like, don't take any chance on somebody messing up your plans and your hard work. And bring children, start schools, and you probably want to bring a lot of little ones. Like, bring as many little ones as you can, because that's going to be really the future. They're going to, like, the future generations. You got to bring these generations to carry on other generations. Not a bunch of older people. Like, bring the children. Teach them so that they haven't been, the children, a lot of them have not been so corrupted by the United States of America, but social media, but like I'm talking about little ones is like young as 4 and 5, and younger than that, like babies, and they haven't been so corrupted by the United States of America. It's really the best to bring more of them than anything else, because because when they get to this new nation, that's all they're gonna know. That's all they're gonna know. So it's best to bring as many little ones as possible. And of course, you got to bring women, but a lot of little ones. You're going to have to bring the people that know how to give birth and do all that stuff, like deliver children. And so it's going to be a lot of natural type of stuff. You're going to have to bring a lot of natural people that understand, like doulas or whatever. Or what you call those? It's another word for it. Not a doula. It's another word for it. What is it called? I hate it when I forget these words. Like, so it's like it's on the top of my mind and I forget it. It just goes away and it comes back. Midwife. But anyway, so you might need a lot of those, because it's going to be all natural. A lot of stuff is just going to be all natural. And I think that's a good idea. It's time to go start all natural again. Like, it's really time to start over. But anyway, I'm still driving, but that is it, and I will talk later.